Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a quick little comparison here between Sony Xperia L1 and the Moto G5. So this is the G5 for 2017 compared with Sony's like mid-ranger phone here. Both of these will set you back about 200 I think for the Moto G5 and 150 odd for the Xperia L1. So let's just start them up here at the same time. So both of these are running latest Android in terms of the software. I think the G5 does give you a nice processor, Snapdragon, as well as the same kind of camera setup as the higher end phones. So that could be an advantage. But you can see the L1 does give you a much better bezel ratio. I mean, look at the size of these things on the Moto G5. That is absolutely, terrible. But I think in terms of the screen technology, both of them are quite similar. With the L1, you are getting a Type-C connection at the bottom here, which is a significant advantage. Which gives you like faster data transfer speeds and future proofing, whereas you don't get that on the Moto G5, which is annoying. I think both of them aren't fully waterproof, but Moto does tend to coat its phones with like a nano kind of repellent sort of stuff, so that is nice. So in terms of the software here, you can see we're getting Sony's kind of like skin here, which is pretty good. It's I'd say Sony should definitely go back to how it used to be though, in terms of its like customized skin, because it was a bit more interesting. Whereas Moto is very stock as well, kind of thing. But they have like added some interesting features to the Moto device, like for example your Moto display. Your gestures, etc., like shaking the phone, you can go into the camera, whereas you don't get that on the L1, so it feels a little bit lacking there. The area where the L1 does really shine is in terms of the equalizer settings, which are much better. In fact, the Walkman app, etc. So I'd say this is more of an audiophiles device compared to the Moto, which is much more kind of boring when it comes to the music here. One significant advantage of the Moto is a fingerprint scanner is actually present here, which you don't get on the Sony, which is, it would have been very easy for them to implement one on the side here like the higher end phones, but it does miss out on that. In terms of the build quality, both of them feel very solid. Both of them are built to last here, but we do get a bit of sticky out lens on the Moto, which is a bit annoying. I think this looks a bit more sleekish and nice in terms of the design. I think they're both using fixed batteries, but in my usage the G5 is pretty good when it comes to battery because of the efficient processor, etc. You get this nice battery widget as well, which shows you the battery remaining. In terms of the speed, so let's just have a quick look here. I think we have closed everything down and we can just quickly open some stuff. I think generally, again, it's going to be like the Snapdragon versus MediaTek argument here. No matter what MediaTek I have used, it has always been quite disappointing compared to an equivalent like processor. You can see it takes a while for things to open on the L1. There is a certain delay I've noticed, which would drive me mad, if I was using it day to day. I think the screen is actually better though on the L1, looking at it from this perspective. Both of them I think are on the max here, and the screen on the Moto G5 is very disappointing because it's not as good as the previous model. But in terms of if you're looking for your speed here, you can certainly see who is ahead, in terms of the Snapdragon processor. Let's just have a look at the Wi-Fi as well, so we can see. So this one and this one are on the same. Another thing which I don't like about MediaTek processor is the Wi-Fi performance, which is usually terrible. You can see, I mean, that score for a 5G like supporting device is very under par. Usually you'd expect about 100 for a mid-range device, which I guess you're going to get with the G5 here. And I wasn't wrong, you can see. So you can see the upload's quite good, but it's all about the download really to me. And in terms of the cameras, as I said, we do have a very class leading camera in the G5 series. I think it's the same as the one you get in the S7 Edge, but probably without the good stuff that you do get, like the software, etc. So I have done like a comparison here at and about, and I can comfortably say the G5 just completely destroys the Sony at the end of the day in terms of the reliability. It's much faster to focus. I think it has phase detection, autofocus. You get nice bokeh in the background here, and just nice shots generally. Whereas the L1, you can get good shots out of it, but you really have to struggle with it, and you shouldn't have to do that in a device which is like 2017. It's like you need to bring around like a tripod with you to get a decent shot here. This is more low light, and you can see the color balance is a bit weird. It's like yellowish, whereas on the G5 it gets the color balance very right, and the image is a lot sharper overall. So very strange really. Motorola used to be terrible when it came to cameras, but now they're getting so good on their cheaper devices. There's not much point in buying more expensive phones. Yeah, just a quick little comparison here between these two. We'll do some more comparisons with the L1 as well, and maybe the G5. If people still looking at this phone, it's a pretty nice phone, the G5 phone. I think it's going to be supplanted soon with a new X Play as well soon, so hope to get that in, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.